Crusty Crusaders, I thought this was a van channel. It still is. This is just a bonus series. If you don't know what Crusty Crusaders is, we've made a video talking all about it. We'll probably link it down in the description or somewhere in this video. And no, it's not about living in a van, but I suggest you give it a shot. Who knows, you might end up liking it. Okay, to the episode. All right, so I know what you might be thinking.
Who's this guy?
So we're back. Season 2.
Season 2.
Crusty Crusaders. And this one has been a long time coming.
For sure, yeah. What is today? It's like a year and a half.
What? Yeah, November 2020. Right. And we took this trip back in July of 2019. So there's that Hugh McGregor show, long way round, and then
down, up.
And ours is, I guess,
long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're familiar with the first season, if you're not, go watch it now. You'll know that Andrew and I and Thad all took dirt bikes.
The northern half of the Continental Divide, we went from Glacier National Park in Washington to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It was a great time.
Yeah, it took us 2 weeks, and
the idea was like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, get the ideal thing for this adventure ride, because you're probably not going to get to go on another one.
Right.
But then it was like, well, let's definitely go on another one.
Right, yeah, it kind of like gave us the bug. The first time, since it was a little expensive, like you ended up spending quite a bit of money on
probably about $4 or $5 grand.
Right,
yeah.
that just wasn't feasible.
And the time it took to drive all the way out there was a lot of time commitment, money commitment. So
we had to get something else, and we had to do it on a much tighter budget. The goal was to only spend $500 to find a motorcycle with 2 wheels.
Less than 200 cc's or something, right?
Yeah. And it needed to be road legal, because we were gonna go from Milwaukee, Wisconsin
to around
Traverse
the lake
City,
to Traverse City,
Michigan, which was what, like 400 miles?
400 and some miles, 500 miles.
Yeah. So something that's gonna make it a decent amount,
right.
a decent amount of road. Absolutely.
And they're just crustier.
Way crustier. It fits the title way more. So with that in mind, we set out on a hunt for some little bikes. Now, luckily, I knew exactly what I wanted right off the bat, even though almost everyone thought it was pretty dumb. Traded the van for it straight up. Everyone else is on mopeds. I thought I'd take the difficult route of trying to turn a slow mini bike into something that I could keep up with those guys with. Did some mods to it. You can see this is the original frame. We added these extensions. Seat extender. This is a cool add-on. I got a rear horn. And I think this is just like wagon wheels. I had to chip my tooth for this. We did all the electrical to it, and this guy's coming over. Great. How's it going? Fellow rider. So long, fellow rider. That guy had no teeth. But I was talking about electrical now that I remember before that guy came up. My phone is like my GPS and my speedometer. I have an app for a speedometer. Added a mirror, it doesn't do shit, it just vibrates. So it's kind of a death trap. Right turn, and then if you can hear this, horn, which sounds like the horn's fucked. Oh, it got bent. Fixed. Can you guys think of anything else? This is a new addition, the good old stick stand. This is what the professionals have on their bikes, so I of course have it. So that's my little thing.
which that we'll see in the coming episodes. It's pretty dumb, you know, kind of a dumb choice. I, on the other hand, thought that $500 is too much money to spend, so I'd just try and find something in a lot cheaper way.
And I think you ended up coming up with something pretty decent.
Yeah,
you know?
actually, yeah.
Probably the crustiest bike of...
At least it looked kind of crusty, but it performs.
Yeah, diamond in the rough.
Right. Okay, so this time around things are a little bit different. Whereas when we did the Continental Divide, the guys had a bike and I did not. I had to buy one. This time I have a bike. You can probably hear it running back there, and you may have seen it before. I am a total nerd about the Honda C70 Passport. Look at it glowing. Anyway, the bike will always start up. It just started up after a couple of kicks. That's one of the things I love about it. So kind of staying within the contest in some way, I was able to get a bike years ago for $500. Put more money in it since then. So I don't know if that's cheating or not, but I am gonna go through it, try and get a title and do some things to get it ready for the trip. Look at it. Look how beautiful it is. And listen to that idle. Running good. I've been in love with them since I saw them, like Poor Man's Vespa, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that they're just a cool part of like world motorcycle culture, and I'm happy to own one, and I probably will never get rid of it.
I mean, you'll never guess how we came across Thad's bike.
You're about to witness the hunt for the world's most illustrious creature, with spottings all across the continent. Our team of highly trained specialists
Holy shit! You guys seeing this?
are hot on the trail.
Wait.
You'll
You guys
never
see it?
believe what they find. Join us for another episode of
Guys, I'm pretty scared.
Sasquatch Squad.
I'm not quite sure what we just saw.
Viewer discretion advised.
All right, freaking skeeters, man. Skeeters are bad. Yeah, we got a hot tip though. We're out here in the Florida Everglades. We're out here hunting for who? A skunk ape. That's right. He told he could be seen in these parts about 4 o'clock. So we stayed up all night last night so we could stay up later tonight, and we're here. It's about 3 o'clock, and we're gonna go looking for him. So. Yep. All right. You go that way. I'll go this. Is your walkie working? Check. Shit. Oh shit. Go that way. You go around.
We knew that unmistakable grunt could only belong to one creature, but the excitement of being so close knocked us off our game.
He went that way. Tim. You okay? Buddy, look at this, man.
But that led us to a monumental find.
That's it.
Squatch feces.
Get here,
And
you
by the
fucker.
taste of it, it was fresh, which meant we were close. The smells were becoming unbearable.
You think they're really out here?
I'll bug the split my mouth.
You puked on me, man.
As time pressed on, we were starting to lose our cool.
Oh, that means there's multiple. Did you get that shit?
But then we saw it.
What was that?
We decided to review our footage, and we captured a pretty clear shot of our skunk ape.
Man, that's bogus footage, man. You gotta do better.
way
than that.
better.
No,
than
it's
any
not
I've
good
seen
enough.
But he wasn't done
Well,
with
that
us.
means we gotta go back up.
Never in my 20 years of squatch hunting had I seen that. I don't know how, but there it was. This full-grown skunk ape riding on 2 wheels.
Holy shit! You guys seeing this?
What's up, Thad?
Nothing. This is my 1984 Honda Aero 125. Let's check it out. Oh, that's nice having your foot wherever you want it. That's nice. USB phone charger. That's about it.
Those guys in that video look pretty familiar, didn't
Yes.
they?
Mhm.
They're those the Sasquatch
I think that
hunter
they have
guys.
a show on Amazon Prime.
Andrew, unlike last season, already had his bike.
Right.
And so he probably had the least work to do on his. On the other hand, I had to start from scratch.
You
So-
say had to, but in true Ben
I wanted
fashion,
to.
yeah, you.
I wanted to make it harder.
You could have just gotten one off Craigslist and
Yeah.
rode it the whole way and been
Right.
fine, but that's not how Ben does things.
No. So
What I started out doing was scouring Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. And I think I found mine for $150. It didn't run. All I wanted but was the frame though. I had to drive all the way to Kentucky. It's June 21st, it's about 7:45 in the morning, and I'm currently on my way to go pick up a mini bike. It's funny because I have my buddy's Prius. It's great on gas mileage, but I'm gonna have to squeeze this little mini bike into the back here. Luckily, it's so damn tiny, I don't think I'm gonna have an issue. They gave me a pup cup, and he's obsessed with them. He makes such a mess. Slow down. Rock. His brain is gone right now. He's not blinking, nothing. So I got out there, I found this bike, $150, and then I had to find the engine I wanted for it. And now it's really popular to go get a Predator 212 engine, which is something you grab from Harbor Freight, and they usually use them for
Like a power washer or something.
power washers
Yeah,
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they're pretty powerful, and they're pretty well built, and they're not that expensive. I think you can get them for $95 at Rocky. You're kind of ruining the shot. Okay. Lay down. I ended up finding a guy on Facebook Marketplace who was willing to sell his, which he had only ran it through they say when you get a new one to run it for 2 hours or whatever. So he had done that but never really used it, and he sold it to me for $80. So right there, I was like $230, halfway through my budget. Then I had to get all the electrical components to make it street legal. And so I think I ended up spending another $130 on that. And then I had to get some modifications, some little aftermarket parts for the engine to make it so that I could keep up with these guys, hit that 40-mile-per-hour range with them. And so I think I spent around $80 on that. In total, I hit $480. And then I ended up returning a few of those pieces because I didn't need them, so I had like $50 spare. And what I started with was pulling the old bike that I bought apart and seeing what I could salvage from it. And all I could really use was the frame itself, the seat, and the tires. It's rusty as shit, so I'll clean it, but I'm not going to make it look super pretty. I am going to clean the sprocket that I pulled off, clean the tires, see if they hold air, throw the chain, which is nice and rusty, in some kerosene and let it soak in here, and then start working on this bad boy. Into the engine itself, there's like all these stock parts that aren't that good, and so I took out the governor, I removed like the exhaust box that comes on them, the air filter, a new header with a little can exhaust thing that, I mean, the thing's so loud.
Yeah, it's like a blowtorch it looked like at the end or something.
It was ridiculous looking. I added new higher tension springs. I think they were like 18-pound springs with spacers on them. And those also came with new rockers to give it more lift. I don't even know what that means, but I talked to a guy online and he's like, it'll help it go faster. And then I re-jetted the carb. I put some like larger bored holes. And I eventually got it all back together with the governor off, and I was cooking about 45 miles or 50 miles per hour at first.
It was a death trap.
It was a
sure.
and it was popping wheelies like nothing.
Yeah, I remember when I rode it the first time, it was like, yeah, you may not even know the wheel's off the ground.
Right.
You're just like, why can't I steer? Maybe because it sucks? I don't know.
But the engine was so big, you couldn't put your feet on it. And like your seat was over top of it. It was too cramped. So then I had to work on the frame. That was something I didn't anticipate on doing. So I had to go to my dad's. And we redid the seat, ended up using a computer chair to give a backrest, and then took shocks off of an old bike seat to give me a little bit of suspension. But then that put me directly over the axle, like the rear axle, so which made me even more wheelie prevalent. So I had to get extended foot pegs so I can actually sit on the thing. And then because the seat was raised with all those things we added to it, I had to add some handlebar extensions. Right. And then we went and welded all that over at Greg's. And while we were there, we added a battery box, and then we added a rear rack system.
As you're into this, what is the appeal?
Originally in my head, I was like, it's almost like you're building your own bike, you know? So while you guys were going and buying something that was like factory made, you know, in my mind, I was thinking, well, this is me. This is custom. This has my name all over it. Like, I can make it exactly how I want to. You know, I wanted it to be a learning experience, and I also wanted it to be an eyesore. I kind of wanted it to be something that would be like, you'd see it cruising down the road, and people would be like, what the hell is that?
Right, which is in my mind too with all of this, is the image of like, the guy who's collecting cans on the side of the road just went 500 miles to get there.
Did he get here?
yeah.
Where is he going?
Right.
I wasn't thinking like, oh, there's no suspension on this thing, you know?
Right. There's something to be said for the manufacturer. So Honda paid a team of engineers to put suspension on their bike.
A lot of things that I didn't have at all. But so you basically had everything. What did you spend on? Just tires? Like your budget?
Yeah, I got some tires for cheap. These are the ones that were on it when I got it. They're okay, but pretty cracked.
But you also put together your own custom panniers.
So we're trying to pack a lot of stuff with us on this trip, and a cheap way to make luggage is using a cat litter container. I'll show you what I'm doing, making a little rack. I have one already made for my other one, and I finally came across another cat litter container, or our cat's pooped enough to where I have a spare. So this is my existing one. This mounts up to the bike. Rack, it goes in here. Hold it with a bungee cord. Mount lights on the back if you want, high vis tape, whatever you want to do. More cat litter, whatever. So these are great because they're cheap, they're light, and they're waterproof. I've seen plenty of people on bicycles make sort of upcycle stuff into luggage. So taking those cat litter things, I've always kind of wanted to do that and try it out. It didn't, well, we'll see throughout the series, I guess, how well it held up, but the nice part too is like all those parts are wherever you go, so you can just fix it. I kept saying that in Breath of the Wild or the Zelda games, there's that guy Beetle that you buy stuff from the side of the road.
The trader guy?
Right,
yeah.
And he's always like, well, hello, thank you. That's what I wanted, that guy, the spirit of that guy to come through in that bike and carrying everything that you would need for 500 miles. For me, the purist in me of these trips is like everything you have, it's all contained on that bike, and there's something sort of freeing about that.
Yeah.
So, you know, put it in cat litter boxes and in an IKEA bag, and my tent was on there, food, like tools, spare parts, everything that we kind of needed was ready to go there.
And a shark.
And a shark, yeah.
And then you were on the hunt for Thad's
bike. Thad is living in Florida. And
Thad is season 1 again. He's the crazy
the
guy.
You know who Thad is at this point. What the hell's going on here? Part of this whole thing was like, well, my bike was free, so like I'll pitch in on getting your bike and find something for you, because he didn't have time, and I don't think he had the ability to get it up here from Florida. Right. So yeah, on the hunt for something to buy for Thad. So every year, my dad and this guy Dirt, Uncle Dirt, he's my dad's friend, his name is Dirt. We go to the AMA Vintage Days in Lexington, Ohio. There's camping, there's like the people who ride the bikes in the cage around the like Russian lady doing handstands. But the big sort of piece de resistance for people who buy and build stuff is this like 5-acre swap meet with all kinds of crazy stuff. Plus then in all the campgrounds, you just cruise around there and everybody has their own sort of swap meet happening at the same time. There was a year I went, actually when I got my passport, I brought, you know, like $100, and I bought this moped that wasn't running, got it running in like 30 minutes, turned around and put a for sale sign on it, took the profit from that, and then bought my passport. Anyway, searching around, I remember spending most of the weekend seeing different sort of things. There was a lot of crazy stuff, and I'm sending pictures of that. And so $500 for something that runs with the title is kind of right at that threshold, at least out there in the market that Vintage Days is. And then finally coming across this Aero 125. That was in fact the bike that I had bought and then sold years before to get my passport was the Aero 125. So I had like a little bit of experience with those. But this one started and it ran and I was told the guy what we were doing. And I was like, here's my number, just like, you know, if by the end of the weekend you don't sell it and if you want to take 500 for it, let me know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, lo and behold, pretty soon after that, he just texted me and I went back over there. I think I found a bike for Thad. It's right at the budget, but it seems like a good deal. Talked to the guy yesterday. He's gonna take a 500 bucks for it. I'm gonna go pick it up now. And then it's like, where was I? Where was it in this crazy swap meet?
Yeah.
I think you gotta go left.
Where?
Left. Really? I thought it was at the end. We forgot where it is. Finally found the guy, gave him the money, and then rode it around the rest of the time. It was a two-stroke.
Yeah, loud, stinky two-stroke.
Loud, stinky, ugly gold color.
Yeah, perfect for that.
Yeah, 80s spaceship sort of vibe about it. Pretty soon after, it was having issues running. Well, it's morning now, and there's a unfortunate development with the Aero. Guess we'll have to try and fix it when we get home, because we're out of here. And it was time to go at this point, so we loaded up on the trailer. Not like I have time to go get a refund, and that's not really how things work at Vintage Days.
And that's where we only had so many days left
Right.
at that point. Like we had a week and a half. I
Right.
think.
That's, yeah.
And it was crunch time.
Yeah, that's what I remember most about that.
And so he gets back and this bike's not running properly.
Right.
While he's got to work on that, the first thing I think he tackled was the carb. I needed to attack my electrical. Now, luckily, you've had experience with doing some like wiring harness work on your old bike and things like that. And you had the things we needed to put this together for mine.
Yeah, scab together an entire wiring harness.
Right.
Look who's here. The homeless guy.
Hey, you
Archer's shitting.
It's stuck in his ass. Zoom in on that. So I gotta fix that first.
Archer. I got all these wires, so hopefully something good happens.
Which I ended up having to buy a headlight. I bought turn signals. I bought a control piece for the turn signals, for the headlight and the horn. Had to get a horn. I had a brake light. I had to get a banjo bolt for the brake pedal to pull for the brake light, which was a tail light turn signal thing combo.
Look at that light show.
Whoa!
Did it have a key?
I had to get a keyed ignition because that's something you have to have on a bike. And then a kill switch. I got a kill switch for it. I had to use one of your batteries that you had. So
that
I
was
saved
from
money.
the KTM from season 1, actually.
So I saved money on that. And then a little, it's like a regulator thing. And then
Relay. Turn signal relay.
Yep, a relay, and then a little voltage reader that was also a USB port.
Right,
that
because
we put in there.
Unlike any other thing that's made in a factory and not in your backyard, it didn't have an alternator to charge the battery. So it was like you had to literally plug it in and charge it.
So I had to keep an eye on the battery for sure. And so we had to figure out a way to wire all that stuff together. And
Meanwhile, tick, 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 tick. There's a spot in my driveway where it's still now today, a year and a half later, like a hole in the asphalt from that.
Yeah. Then you also had to buy a new float and needle.
Right. It's like the day before and I need this special needle. And what am I gonna do? So I'm calling up all these places. I talked to my dad and the gas coming out of the exhaust, he said, is worst case scenario, we might watch the bike burn on the side of the road. So I am trying to find a float for a 1984 Honda Aero 80N H125 in Wisconsin that can have it there while we're there on Monday. But Cedar Creek supposedly has 5 in stock. why do they have that in stock? I have no idea, but
And why is it hard to get parts for this specific bike?
they made it for 1 year, and they made it, what, 35 years ago or something. So it's the float itself is discontinued, so I don't think we'll find that. But this valve could save us a lot of heartache. So let's fingers crossed. Cedar Creek. Okay. Great. Is there like, I doubt that they're gonna fly off the shelf by Monday, but I'm coming through town on this scooter and really need this. Just one. Thanks. Bye. So that's amazing. I think our luck hasn't run out. So we'll definitely pick that up on Monday. It's like, it's actually on our way because we're gonna start in Racine but go up to Wisconsin for the starting line, so we may be able to grab it on the way.
Okay.
Sweet.
So that bike ended up being somewhere around $680. So eventually we got my bike in a good spot. Like, all my electrical was working. It was basically street legal. And because it was street legal, we thought, okay, let's go get our bikes registered.
Okay, we are.
Back here.
Look at that. Slick. That's kind of slick. So we're at the BMV, got our Cobras, what is that form, the affidavit?
Yeah, it's the Motor Driven Cycle MDC Affidavit Affirmation of Ownership and/or cubic centimeters. And we're filing them as a Class B.
Class B, because they're 50 cc's.
So,
What did you put for yours as just
I
like?
said it was a streaker, like
Okay.
a Manco streaker. And so I said it was a Manco streaker 50cc.
So I'm imagining some guy just streaking
Yeah.
50 cc style.
It does sound like some type of like, but
Manco streaker was spotted
Yeah.
again. What you got there?
it's the registration right there.
Look at that.
And a little template.
Template, nice. Pretty easy,
Yeah,
actually.
what was that? What time is it?
9,
So 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
And we're registered, and it was like $42. And all we needed was one piece of paper
Yeah,
and to just say,
it's 49 cc's.
yeah.
And if you,
You don't even have to like really have a bill of sale or anything.
no, yeah, we brought them and they didn't even look at them. So, nice job, BMV.
so that put me at my $500. But that was easy. You had a hell of a time with the Arrow.
Yeah, the guy had the title, but not with him. So he had it, but not notarized. And either his neighbor or his wife was the notary. So he's like, I'll get it notarized and send it to you.
And so it shows up.
That might just be something that I've been waiting for. Oh, it is. The Arrow 125 title, notarized. Yeah, it shows up. Okay, I got my title. We'll go. I've been to the BMV plenty of times, and I have a title. It'll be easy. So I go, take it to the BMV. Kind of feels like deja vu. Like I was just here. Of course, nothing's ever easy. The VIN number on the title is missing the first 2 digits from the fucking frame. So they're like, we can't do anything. Nothing you can do. You gotta take it to the police and have an inspection done. Because somebody 15 years ago left out the first 2 digits on this fucking document. Probably because some rules have changed, and since it was in '84 and some bullshit because of that in Ohio and goddamn motherfucking whatever the hell. I'm just trying to give you money to make this thing legal, and it's annoying as hell. So, to the police station, I guess. Here I am. Do I have the filled out documents in hand? No, they don't do scooters or motorcycles here. They only do standard passenger motor vehicles. So I have to call a number and have one dispatched to my house. Any day you're on a motorcycle is a good day, and any day you go to the DMV and the police office and back home again instead of working when you have other things to do, and the motorcycle riding just makes it I just want to go on this trip.
And meanwhile, I had done mine so simple, and
Right.
it's totally not like,
Right.
it's like I put it together glue and
Right. We basically, it's easier to illegally, like, skirt the rules and
Yeah.
all that than it is to legally register a thing that you have all the proper documentation for. So the officer comes out of the house, and I'm kind of like, this would be interesting, like, for him to, it seems like a waste of his time. And we're looking around, and we can't find where it is, and then I realize there's like this big clump of mud. The actual marker is back there behind the wheel on the right side, covered in mud, and that number is 2 less digits than the frame serial number, which is down here. So the lovely officer just verified everything. The bike is not stolen, so we got to try and go back to the BMV and do this again. I hop on, I'm gonna hightail it over the BMV, DMV, whatever it is. It's not that far away. Well, the wonderful luck continues. I walked in there and they said that the systems are down. You can wait, you can take a number, they'll hold your place in line. Fuck it. I don't have enough time today, so I'm gonna go in the morning. I guess I was stupid. This is the government hard at work. So, you, and I don't know, not to rant too much about the government, but like, I'm all for like health care for everyone, but if it's like the United States Hospital of America, it would be like the BMV, and it would just, you'd be bleeding out, and they'd be like, well, unless you have the proper form in our system, right, you're gonna have to have a cop verify that you are actually injured. So anyway, what is it now? The first time the police come out to my house, my 4th trip to somewhere to try and get this stupid thing registered. And forget it, I'll do it tomorrow. So I get up early in the morning, go. On my way to the BMV yet again. It's now Friday morning, and this is my last opportunity to get this thing registered before we leave tomorrow. And here I thought it was hard to get 2 wheels mounted. Okay, moment of truth. What do you think? We got it. Registered and legal. But this new plate is gonna look good in place of that Ohio plate, because Indiana's better than Ohio. And finally, it's done.
So that's our registration for all those bikes.
After all of that planning and the route and getting all this stuff together and all these bikes and titles and bureaucracy and blah, 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 the stress is over because you just got to go.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got my bikes ready.
Mine was pretty much set. You know, I did go back north home, which was on the way to where we were going the next day. So the plan was, you know, put on my clutch cover because that was just exposed and would chop your foot up. And then my dad, because he was worried about me popping a wheelie, made me a custom wheelie bar. And that was just a rod he welded together with some red wagon wheels placed on it to keep me from toppling backwards.
Scary, that's all. You can't trust me.
Can you put it down farther?
Jacking right there.
We'll see it. It's gonna take some getting used to.
It's there for a safety thing.
The seat totally bent when I did that.
I just see my truck going bye-bye.
It gives you a lot of street cred too.
It does, yeah. So like we were literally putting that on within the last few hours before everyone came and got us.
Right. Everyone's gonna meet at my house. Thad texted me. He was on his way from Florida.
Yeah.
Jake, our producer, was coming with a rental truck. Mm-hmm. We had Nick, a cameraman this time. And then Zach came over to my house.
Shit.
What?
We have not said anything
about Zach.
So, yeah. Zach was another rider on here, and he also had a bike.
He lives not that far.
Yeah, we should probably
just go talk to him.
Okay, now let's grab some stuff and talk to him. thing we're mobile.
YouTube.
Okay.
We're here. It's raining now.
Like the umbrella.
Thanks.
I guess this
matches
is
my
like
mask.
a band.
Here we are.
We're at Zach's. We're
It's cold.
gonna see. We're at his garage. We'll see what he's up to, and hopefully he's got his bike out for us. We told him we were coming.
Zach.
Hey. What up, guys? So we're doing pickup shots, and we're finally cutting together the Crusty Season 2, and we've got all of our bikes, and we totally forgot about you and your bike. So we wanted to come film you with it.
You guys want you want to see it?
Yeah, where is it at?
Yeah, it's right here.
I don't remember that being the thing you wrote.
It's a little different looking. Well, the Tomos is sold. It's gone. So that's about all I got right now.
Great.
The Tomos is gone, but not because I didn't love it.
Okay.
The Tomos is gone because I almost loved it too much. Got the thing going real well, and you know, I started wondering what other bikes I could get for like $500. So like I bought more, and then got those running and messed around with them a little bit, and you know, eventually I had this whole area full of bikes, and you know, the Tomos, I just wasn't riding it, so I passed it on to the next guy.
So they can go on adventures.
Go on their
and
own adventure.
Destroy it as much as you did.
So the Tomos is a Slovenian-made moped, and it was the only like two-stroke moped that was still allowed on the road in all 50 states up until I think they were still making them until like 2009.
And
so
they're not like what you picture as a moped. Like they're pedal, like they're different.
which is what motor and pedals. That's how moped started. That's what
Oh.
moped is. You know, as a two-stroke 49cc true moped that was still sold in the U.S. until 2009. So they're everywhere. They're dirt cheap. This
Yeah.
one I found, it was on Craigslist. It was like an hour and a half away because I had to get into like the middle of nowhere in Ohio, and it was some kid that, you know, got it running, rode it to work, and, you know, eventually got a car. And, you know, which is dumb because the Tomos was cooler. So I'm on my way to pick up this moped. It's kind of the moped of my dreams, and I'm excited to see it. Just a couple more hours and a hot, sweaty car ride, and I'll be there. That went pretty well. I'm super jazzed. I think I got a good deal on this thing. It looks real sharp. It started up first kick, and I took it for a test drive around the block, and it runs pretty good. I'm gonna be moving around in style for sure. It needed a little love, and you know, I made it look a little bit cooler, made it run a little bit better, strapped on the milk crate, and you know, that was it.
You sent it across 500 miles. That's it. You saw us get our whips. Maybe not so much on Zach's. And the next thing that we did was take all those bikes out to Wisconsin to start our trip from Milwaukee to Traverse City, Michigan. Boom. And now, I guess thank you for watching. This is probably one of our longest videos that we're gonna have on this series. And just stay tuned so you can see how they hold up.
Like,
Alright.
subscribe, comment,
Watch. Yeah, do all the things.
Patreon.
Thanks.
Zach, say something.
Say something. I was gonna hop in on how they hold up.
Oh, don't give it away. They held up great.
All of it.
All right.